Mom told me never to go in the basement. I found my sister there. Then someone slammed the hatch shut behind me. I always thought it was weird how Mom kept the basement locked. We weren't rich or anything, just a small house in the middle of nowhere, somewhere between nothing and nowhere else. But that basement door had 3 locks on it: a deadbolt, a chain, and a keypad. And none of us kids had the code, which, at first, seemed fair, until my sister disappeared. Her name was Emily. She was 13. I was 15. We weren't especially close, but she was my little sister. We had our fights, but I never wanted her gone. And one morning, she was. The whole thing was a mess. Police, dogs, drones, missing posters stapled to every telephone pole in a 5-mile radius. Nothing. Like she vanished into thin air. Mom cried for weeks, and then she stopped crying. Just like that. One day she was screaming into her pillow and barely eating. And the next, she was putting on makeup again and humming in the kitchen like nothing ever happened. I thought she was trying to cope. Maybe that was her way of surviving. Now, I know better. Fast forward 5 years. I'm 20 now. Still living at home because my job barely pays enough to cover gas and takeout. I don't talk to Mom much. We sort of drifted after Emily vanished. But something started gnawing at me, a sound. Every couple nights, around 3 a.m., I'd wake up to a faint noise, like whispering, or maybe crying, always coming from the basement. I asked Mom about it once. She got pale, real pale, like all the blood drained from her face. "There's rats," she said. "Big ones. Don't go down there." Then she changed the subject and acted like nothing happened. But I couldn't let it go. Something wasn't right. Last Friday, Mom left for one of her weekend trips with her new boyfriend. She does that sometimes, says she's going to relax by the lake, but comes back looking more tired than when she left. As soon as her car pulled out of the driveway, I grabbed a screwdriver and a hammer. I was getting into that basement. The deadbolt came off easy. The chain, too. The keypad took longer, but I remembered the number she used for everything. Her birthday, Emily's birthday, the date Dad left. I guessed for 15 minutes until I got it. Click. The light turned green. The door creaked open. It was cold, much colder than the rest of the house, and damp. The air smelled metallic, like wet pennies. I stepped down, one step at a time. The stairs moaned under my weight. The basement was dark, but I brought my phone. I turned on the flashlight. The first thing I saw was nothing. Just boxes, old furniture, dusty books, and then I heard it. A voice, faint, hoarse. "Hello?" I froze. My breath caught in my chest. "Hello?" I whispered back. Silence. Then, "Is someone there?" It was coming from the far end, behind a wooden partition I'd never seen before. It looked like someone had built a fake wall. There was a small gap at the bottom. I bent down. My flashlight beam hit something. Someone. A girl. Dirty. Pale. Skin hanging off her bones. But those eyes. "Em?" I choked. She blinked. Slowly. Then nodded. I dropped the phone. The light hit the floor. My hands shook. "Emily? What happened?" She started crying. I don't know. Please, get me out. I'm so hungry." I scrambled. I didn't care how or why or what. I just knew I had to get her out. I yanked at the boards. They were nailed in tight. I found a crowbar in one of the boxes and started ripping. Splinters flew. I was halfway through when I heard it. Slam. The door, the basement door. Someone had closed it. Then I heard the lock click. Then the chain. Then the beeping of the keypad. I bolted up the stairs, pounded on the door. "Hello? Mom? Who's there?" Nothing. Silence. Then, from the other side of the door, I heard footsteps. Slow, deliberate. And then a voice, soft, sweet. I told you not to go in the basement. I didn't move at first, just stood there, frozen, staring at the locked door. That voice, it was Mom's, but it didn't sound like her. It was off, like she was pretending to be calm, like she was rehearsing a role and slipping. Mom, what the hell is going on? Open the door. No answer. I turned around, flashlight shaking in my hand, and looked back at Emily. She was staring at me through the crack in the boards. Her hands gripped the wooden slats like a prisoner watching the world pass by from a cell. Please, she whispered. Don't leave me. I'm not going anywhere, I said, my voice cracking. I'm getting you out. I ran back down and kept ripping at the makeshift wall. My hands were bleeding, but I didn't feel it. I pulled and pried until one board finally gave way. Then another. Then I could see her completely. She was thinner than I remembered. Her long hair was tangled and clumped, her face hollow. Her wrists had raw red marks like she'd been tied. There were empty food cans scattered near her feet, and a bucket in the corner I didn't want to look at too closely. How long have you been down here? I asked. She didn't answer, just shook her head, eyes wide, like she didn't even know anymore. I stepped into her little prison and pulled her out, holding her by the waist. She flinched when I touched her, but then clung to me like I was the only solid thing left in her world. Who did this to you? I asked. She looked up at me, and for the first time I saw it, shame. Mom, she whispered. My heart dropped. No way. You're wrong, I said. She cried for months. She put up posters. She called the police. She had to, Emily said quietly. She told me they were gonna take you too. She said I had to stay hidden, that the world was dangerous, that I was sick and needed to be kept down here. I didn't know what to say. My brain couldn't process it. My mom? My mom, who used to sing lullabies and put band-aids on our knees. I helped Emily sit down and gave her my hoodie. She wrapped it around her shoulders, shivering. I pulled out my phone. No signal. Figures. I opened the flashlight again and looked around the basement. There had to be another way out. A window, a vent, something. That's when I saw the other door. It was behind a shelf I hadn't noticed before. Old, rotting wood, a latch on the outside. I pushed the shelf aside and yanked it open. Darkness, but something about it felt different. Like air was moving, like freedom. Come on, I said. We're getting out. Emily hesitated. She said, if I ever left, something bad would happen. She locked you in a hole, Emily. Whatever she said was a lie. She nodded, just barely. We started down the dark hallway. It was narrow, barely wide enough for two people to walk side by side. The walls were made of stone, and the air felt older than the house itself. About 20 feet in, we reached a small metal door. It had rust all over it, but no lock. I pushed. It creaked open. We stepped into a room. Not outside, not freedom. A bedroom. Like a full-on, fully furnished, normal-looking bedroom. There was a bed, a dresser, a desk, a lamp. I turned on the lamp. The light revealed something that made my stomach churn. Photos, dozens of them, pinned to the wall. All of me. Me as a kid. Me at school. Me sleeping in my room. Me brushing my teeth. Me in the shower. I staggered back. What the is this? Emily stared, just as shocked. I never saw this room, she said. I swear. There were journals, too, neatly stacked. I opened one at random. He's getting older, stronger. I think he suspects something. But I have to keep Emily safe. The world is not safe. Boys ruin everything. I should have never let him be born. I dropped the book like it was burning me. This wasn't just some overprotective mom. This was madness. That's when the lamp went out. Total darkness. Then the door slammed shut behind us and locked. I pounded on it. Hello? Emily was breathing fast, panicking. Emily was breathing fast, panicking. Then a voice from a speaker in the wall. Now you know too much. The speaker clicked off. Silence again. Emily was in the corner, curled up, whispering something to herself over and over. Too quiet for me to make out. I paced the room like a caged animal, heart pounding so loud I couldn't think. This wasn't just a lie. This was a prison, and it had been here all along, right under our feet. I tried the door again. No use. Then I noticed something. One of the vents above the dresser was loose. I climbed onto the desk, yanked at the grate. It gave way with a sharp metallic groan. A narrow duct behind it, big enough for me to crawl through. I looked back at Emily. You fit? She nodded, barely. I'll go first. Follow my voice. I slid into the vent, knees and elbows scraping the metal. My flashlight was dying, blinking low battery. Every few feet, I had to stop and breathe. The air was hot and thick, and the smell of dust and rust made me gag. Behind me, I heard Emily crawling. Then, a scream. Stop! It was Mom. Her voice echoed through the vents. I froze. Come back right now! You don't know what you're doing. She's not who you think she is. What? I looked back. Emily stopped moving. Keep going! I whispered. She didn't move. Then Mom's voice again, louder now, almost manic. She's not your sister. Your real sister died. The vent felt like it dropped out from under me. What? She drowned in the river. I couldn't tell anyone, so I found someone to replace her. No way. You're lying. I'm not, she shouted. That girl, she's not Emily. Her name was Ava. She was in foster care. I brought her home, cleaned her up. She was just like Emily. She even believed me when I said she was my daughter. I turned to Emily, Ava, whatever her name was. She was crying now, whispering again, louder this time. I didn't know. I didn't know who I was. I just wanted to be loved. I didn't know what to believe. Why lock her in the basement? I yelled back. She started remembering. Mom spat. Started saying things that didn't match. I had to keep her safe. Keep you safe. You don't understand. I did this for you. That was it. Something in me snapped. I kept crawling, faster, dragging myself through the darkness until I saw a light, a faint glow from another vent. I slammed my shoulder into the grate over and over until it burst open and I tumbled into the laundry room upstairs. I turned around. Ava, come on! She dropped into the room a second later, shaking, crying, covered in dust and blood. We didn't stop. Ran to the front door. Of course it was locked. But this time, I didn't care. I grabbed the nearest chair and smashed it through the glass. Alarms blared. We burst into the cold night air, barefoot and bleeding, and didn't stop running until we hit the neighbor's porch and pounded the door like our lives depended on it. Because they did. The police came. We told everything. They arrested Mom that night. Turns out, she wasn't even legally my mother. My birth certificate was forged. My real parents had died in a car crash when I was a baby, and she'd adopted me illegally through some underground arrangement. Emily, or Ava, was another stolen child. She'd been missing for 6 years. DNA confirmed it. The woman I called Mom was mentally ill and deeply manipulative. She believed she was protecting us from the world, from men, from something only she understood. She's in a psychiatric hospital now. I haven't seen her since. It's been 6 months. Ava and I live together now. We're not siblings, not by blood, not by memory, but we are survivors. And that means something. Sometimes I still wake up in the middle of the night, thinking I hear someone whispering through the floor. Sometimes Ava screams in her sleep. But we hold on to each other, because now, finally, we're free.